It's Tadpole Ridge fire, closing in on 1,000 acres burned. Large smoke plume being pushed west by the winds that would normally be coming out of the west. Yesterday was extraordinarily windy and no doubt has hampered the efforts of the crews that are up fighting that fire currently. And I can't help but make some parallel analogies to what's going on up on Tadpole Ridge to what's going on in our country. Never again in my lifetime will I ever be able to see Tadpole Ridge. It has been burned down to the ground, so to speak, and the force has been kind of wiped off the face of the planet. And perhaps within lifetime of those that come after me, they will be able to enjoy that area of the world again. And it is absolutely heartbreaking seeing this happen on top of everything else going on in the country and the world. This is just a horrible metaphor. And I know that people far more enlightened than me, Buddhists, talk about suffering and how suffering is often the result of attachments. We form attachments to things, and our ego personalizes everything. And then we suffer as we see those attachments dissolve due to time and entropy and just the way of the universe. And we fight that, and that fighting and that inability to realize the impermanence of everything causes a lot of suffering. And I wish that I had the enlightenment and the self-awareness to let go of some of those. Unfortunately, it is just heartbreaking to be experiencing this, to see this happening right now. All I can hope for is that the crews can get the fire under control. The fire is, so it's hard to point out from here, but you can see these two mountains here. These are what we call the Twin Sisters. And just to the right of the fire, where the fire is, just to the right, and behind this ridgeline in front, the Sisters is a mountain called Signal Peak, kind of over in here, I suppose. Signal Peak and Black Peak, and that is where some of the greatest riding and hiking and some of the most astonishing views of the land exist in this particular area of the world. And it burned down, parts of it burned several years ago, and there's a highway 15, that runs up through there. And if that fire makes it down to the highway and jumps over the highway, pretty much all will be lost, at least in my lifetime. So my only hope is that that doesn't happen. And if it does, then obviously the community will have to kind of deal with that trauma. And it is a kind of trauma. It is kind of a part of our Southwestern identity is our attachment to the land. At least some of us. You can see here, it has been a steady stream of helicopters and airplanes, slurry bombers. So this is a helicopter carrying, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a big water bucket underneath it. And so Grant County Airport is way out here, and it's just a constant line of them flying in, bombing the fire, flying back, getting water. And it's just been like that for the last few days. So I really, in spite of all the horrific things going on in this world, there are just brave and amazing human beings that, in spite of great personal hardship, are just rising to the occasion, right? Just throwing themselves at the fire. They've got hotshot crews there, Forest Service, several different agencies working together in light of a global pandemic, a country that's tearing itself apart at the seams, and a fire that threatens the community. There's a little town called Pinos Altos that is not too far away. Pinos Altos, you can't even see the hills back here, but PA is kind of behind this, not these hills, but the hills behind these, which there's so much smoke you can't see that. It's called PA Mountain. So it's possible that that fire could threaten that community and some of the other people in the area. So it's really concerning. So anyway, I just wanted to make this video to kind of air my thoughts out a little bit, and to give thanks to the folks that are up there right now, the men and women that are up there confronting this, and it's just been the most suboptimal conditions you can imagine. Yesterday there were winds over 30 miles, excess of 30 miles an hour, very hot, temperature approaching 80 degrees Fahrenheit, humidity in the single digits, and then you add the 30 mile an hour winds on top of that, and it's just completely suboptimal. This is the first day that we've had in 2 or 3 days where there hasn't been substantial wind yet. So hopefully it will allow them to make some progress and to try to stall the progress of the fire and prevent it from threatening even more of the country back there. It's just heartbreaking to see this happening. And even more heartbreaking in regards to the greater metaphor that it seems to represent. All right. I hope you all stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you in the next video.